I hope everybody is enjoying Junker Queen as much as I am. She is by far one of the best things to happen to Overwatch 2 since they deleted 2CP. Let's go ahead and dive into all of her abilities and give a little insight into her playstyle, as well as some interesting interactions she has against other heroes. First off, we have Junker Queen's passive, Adrenaline Rush. This ability allows you to heal yourself from all of your wounds. These wounds can be applied by your other abilities and even your quick melee. Wounds deal a dot, or damage over time effect, and depending on the ability used by the wound, it can heal you for different amounts. This is the core of your survivability, and it is what encourages you to hit as many enemies as possible with your abilities in order to heal as much as you can. If you find yourself with everything on cooldown and no enemies taking wound damage, then you can be a very easy target to kill, because unlike other tanks, you have only 425 health and no armor, making you very squishy compared to other tanks and more vulnerable from big burst damage such as any headshots or a Rhine charge. Next up, let's talk about your main weapon, the scattergun. This thing does a ton of damage, and it has 6 shots. It's as powerful as you would expect from any shotgun. Make sure to get up as close as you can in order to deal the most damage, and by having your wounds ticking on as many people as possible, you will have plenty of survivability for engaging the enemies up close. Next up is your right-click Jagged Blade. This actually has a very short 6-second cooldown where you go and throw your knife. You can click it again to bring it back to you. It will deal 80 damage if you land a direct hit on an enemy, as well as applying your wound. The most exciting part of this is that you can actually pull enemies who get stuck with the knife back towards you. This is a great way to disrupt enemies or just to bring them in closer so you can hit them with your E or your shotgun. The wound damage is only 15. So you will also only heal for 15. Whenever you bring your knife back to you, it will also apply the wound to any enemies in its path. Since this cooldown is so short, you can throw it pretty often, not to just land the direct hits, but also so you can go for the return hits on people as well. This way you can try to get some healing going by hitting multiple enemies if they are lined up. Next up is your Commanding Shout, which is an extremely useful survivability and utility tool that works not just for you, but your whole team. It has an 11-second cooldown, so you can't use it that often. Once activated, everybody in an AoE centered around you will have their health increased. You will gain 200 HP, and all of your allies will gain 100. Additionally, you will all have 30% increased movement speed. This is something you can use to not just save yourself, but also your allies, so try not to be selfish with it. You can use this move aggressively to help engage, or chase down and secure kills, or even defensively to run away and help save your team. It's an extremely amazing ability with a ton of flexibility that will make your team love you every time you use it. Junker Queen's big damage dealing and healing ability is Carnage, or her E. She swings her axe in front of her, dealing 90 damage and applying a wound that deals 55 dot damage, which also heals you for 55. You can also hit multiple people with this, and it even goes through things such as Reinhardt's shield. This has a 8-second cooldown, so you won't be able to use it that often, but when you can, it is a huge amount of burst damage as well as healing. You want to try and combine this ability with your knife. If you can pull people into your range, then follow up with your axe, they will most likely be a goner. And even if they aren't, you get to heal for a ton. You can also use your Shout's bonus health and movement speed to help you charge at the enemy and close the gap to help secure a well-placed axe. Try to sweep your crosshair in a wide arc like you would with Reinhardt, so you can hit multiple enemies with it if they are in your range. Getting multiple Carnage wounds at the same time allows you to have a ton of healing and makes you very hard to kill. Lastly, we have your ultimate, Rampage. After a small windup, you charge a huge distance forward and deal a whopping 100 damage wound to all enemies you hit, meaning you will also heal for 100 for each wound that you apply. However, that's not even all. You can also apply anti-heal and make every enemy hit purple for 6 seconds. This is an incredibly powerful ability if you can get your team to follow up on it, especially if you have your shout available. Then, unless they have some survivability ultimates on the enemy team, such as Lucio's Beat, they are pretty much done for. While you may not be able to straight up kill the targets with your ultimate, it should be fairly easy to secure these kills, especially since most of the enemy team will be panicking. Junker Queen's kit gives her a very high damage dealing, aggressive gameplay style that makes her feel less like a tank and more like a DPS. And the more damage you deal, the better your survivability gets. With her abilities out of the way, let's look at a few of the hero interactions against enemies that will be rather interesting to know. If you were to throw your knife at a deflecting Genji, it actually pierces right through and connects with him. Your axe won't do damage to his deflect, but the 55 wound still will go through. Diva's defense matrix won't eat your knife, so you won't have to worry about getting it eaten, and pulling her away while she tries to fly can really disrupt any of her plans. You can apply wounds to Mei's walls, and since the wall is separated into 5 separate pieces, one well-placed axe swing can apply multiple wounds that will heal you for 55 each. This isn't all either. You can do the same thing to a Winston bubble, Symmetra teleporter, and even Symmetra's ultimate. If you find yourself against any of these heroes, try to make your axe or even your ultimate land on both of these heroes and abilities in order to maximize your healing. Anyways, that's all for this ability rundown on Junker Queen. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below on how you are enjoying the beta so far. Also, I will be making all future Overwatch videos, guides, VOD reviews, and content on my Overwatch channel from now on. And if you have some time, please go ahead and check out the new website, lookingforguides.com. Anyways, guys, I'm Artorigold. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.